of Diablo 4 have said about the game and what they learned from open beta and early access. I am excited and curious to know what they decided to change in the game following all the feedback they got from people. So, let's go through the article and find out, shall we? By the way, I am streaming, and if you're not following my Twitch, then follow you sleazebags. But anyways, here we go. Diablo 4 Open Beta Retrospective Transformation Feedback into Change. Now, please make note, I also may have some emote stuff popping up, but I will turn that off right now so you guys don't get spammed by it. So the weekend of March 17 and 24, Sanctuary let out a cry for help. A cry that would be answered by hordes of wanderers who rode into the nameless hordes and loosened little grass of Sanctuary during the early access and open beta weekends. Using the information, we made a variety of fixes and updates of various systems in Diablo 4, all of which will be present in the version of the game that launches June 6th. None of this would be possible without the community dedication and love for the Diablo universe, which we say thank you. So, changes. Dungeon layouts. One of the most common pieces of feedback we received is that players felt they were doing a lot of backtracking within certain dungeons. We have optimized multiple dungeons across all zones to minimize the need for backtracking. Here is a list of dungeons specifically in the Fractured Peak zone, which receive layout updates. Faller's Gate, Defiled Catacombs, Derelict Lodge, Forbidden City, Hoarfrost Demise, Immortal Emanation, Poor Dragon Barracks, Mallwood, and Rimscare Caverns. I didn't really have, so for me, I didn't necessarily have a lot of problems with backtracking in dungeons, and one of the biggest reasons why is because the dungeons themselves weren't huge. So when you needed to backtrack, you really weren't taking a lot of time to be able to go back and do one little thing to progress forward in the dungeon. I didn't have a big issue with this one, but I can understand people having some issues with it. I'm probably going to go over the layout changes which reduce certain kinds of backtracking which detract from the player's experience. An example of this change that players have previously needed to enter side rooms to interact with structured objectives, causing them to retreat the same path. Now, many of our structured objectives have been repositioned along main dungeon pathways, making it easier for players to reach and allowing them to readily explore the dungeon after completing the structure. Okay. Dungeon events. A chance for an event to spawn inside of a dungeon has increased from 10% to 60%. Really? That's an unusual one. Was there that much actual desire to have events spawning in dungeons? I got from time to time got some events here and there, but it wasn't anything really drastic. And for me, I find this would take away from the dungeon in itself, but whatever, that's just how it is. Dungeon gameplay. To reduce the need to backtrack, small numbers of straggling monsters will seek out the player to help complete the kill all monster objective. When Animus is gathered, the player and nearby allies will gain 10 resource, reduce all active cooldowns by 1 second. So players nearby, so if you're far away, depositing Animus channel time will reduce from 3 to 0 seconds. Time to rescue was reduced from 3 to 1.5 seconds. All rescue objectives now drop a health potion upon completion. While carrying the ancient statue, bloodstone, mechanical box, or stone carvings, you will receive a momentum bonus granting a 25% move speed increase to you and nearby allies. Yeah, that was, whenever you carried these, it negated a little bit of your movement speed, so you kind of did slow down, so I think it's not bad. Pedestals have had their channel time reduced from 2 to 0 seconds. Reducing a portable object to its pedestal now fully restores health, resource potions, and resets cooldowns to all nearby players. All doors will now generate a mini-map ping when they are opened. All structural objectives in dungeons now have additional combat mechanics players must overcome. All structural objectives in dungeons now have additional combat mechanics players must overcome. So it's just kill X amount of people, whatever. While dungeons offer a variety of objectives to complete, player feedbacks stated that the action of completing each objective felt tedious. We hope that providing for bonuses such as the increase in mobility while carrying certain objective items will streamline and vary the experience in completing objectives. The adjustment is merely a starting point to be intended to extend the philosophy to keys in the future update. Yeah, you're still the thing with the momentum bonus granted here while carrying that stuff is that it's just temporary though, because you're going from one end and putting it somewhere else. So once you do that, you lose that momentum bonus. You know what I mean? By the way, Monty, I'm picking him up. But you lose that that momentum bonus. So it's not really. This isn't a main bonus. It's a temporary bonus, and I don't necessarily think it really merits a bonus just because you're carrying all of these from one end to another. Again, it's an objective, right? You're carrying something heavy. So for me, it kind of made sense. I had an issue with the dungeons just because they felt that as if they were the same overlay again and again and again. And a lot of the tasks that I did felt pretty much copy and pasted from one to another. It ended up being one of these things, whenever you did a dungeon in D4, obviously Act 1, and obviously I'm talking from a point of view where we just did one act, you know what I mean? Like there's multiple acts, there's multiple regions, we don't know how they're gonna differ in those regions, we're just going based off of the one act. For me, it did feel a bit tedious over a period of time, where I felt doing these dungeons just didn't really give me the appeal. Once you got the aspect from the dungeon, you know, there was no real reason to go back unless you got nightmare sigils, which then turns a dungeon into a nightmare dungeon, and then you get, you know, better loot, better gear, harder monsters, better reward. So, but the thing is, in Act 1, you didn't get that, right? Like, so in the end, it's one of these things where I get where they're coming through, but the biggest issue that they're getting is the backtracking and also the little benefits or boosts depending on like the mission you're doing. I still don't think this is a main change that's required for them. However, like I get it, but I don't know. My biggest thing was there wasn't much in the way of differentials in the dungeons to truly make them feel special every time you did them. And I'm not asking to be completely different, but if these dungeons are procedurally generated, I'd like there to be some type of change associated to it, not just kind of similar aspects from one dungeon to another. But overall, okay, not a bad change. We'll see how that works. Biggest one, classes. Curious how this is going to go down. Effects like stun and freeze can be applied to elite monsters twice as long before they become unstoppable. Effects like stun and freeze can be applied to elite monsters twice as long before they become unstoppable. So pretty much, you're adding an additional amplifier to this damage or this special effect until they become unstoppable, and that effect doesn't affect them anymore. Reviewing class skills to confirm that all classes have access to sufficient skills that remove control and parry effects. Many legendary powers have had updates to their effectiveness. Okay. So Barbarians. A flat 10% passive damage reduction has been added for the Barbarian class. Some skill tree passives have had their damage reduction effects reduced to compensate. The Whirlwind skill now deals more damage and consumes more fury. Double swing skill enhancements refunds all fury cost when used on stunned or knocked down enemies. Was there a big... So, unfortunately, we only had one experience with Barbarians.
Wait, did you?
Two passive had their damage reduction effects reduced to compensate. So pretty much you have a nerf on your character, but some of your skills have a buff on them to negate that. So pretty much what you're doing is that they're downgrading the natural damage your character can do and pretty much upping what skills will add more damage for your character. So I think that Whirlwind's gun now deals more damage and consumes more fury. I know Blinder loves that attack. Double swing enhancement refunds its full fury cost when used on stunned or knocked down enemies. Okay. Druid. Complete redo. No, companion skills will now deal heavily increased damage. Yes, I can't begin to explain to you how a werewolf feels like it doesn't hit like a fucking beast. All ultimate skills have had their cooldowns reduced. Usable improvements have been made to maul and pulverize. I think that was a very big one from a lot of people, specifically when they were playing the werebear form or the werewolf form. Oh my god, pulverize is not bad. Maul I know had a massive issue. Like a lot of people felt it was extremely underpowerful. Using a non-shapeshifting skill will transform a druid back into their human form. Okay, wasn't they doing that before? Necromancers pretty much fucking nerf the whole shit. Summoned minions will die more often, requiring players to utilize corpse more often. Yes, so the minions never died. Like, I'll be sincere with you, the minions, when you summon them, they fucking never died. So, having them die more frequently, I think a little bit more, gives you more reason to use the actual corpses. To be fair though, the biggest thing is that when they didn't die, you used corpse explosion, and that motherfucking thing just cleared the goddamn floor. Many bonuses in the Book of the Dead have had their stats increased, okay? The damage dealt by the corpse explosion skill has been reduced. Yes, I understand why. The brightness of the skeleton warriors and mages have been reduced. Brightness? I didn't realize there was an issue with brightness. Rogue upgrades for sub-preferred skills have had their bonuses increased. Multiple passive skills have had their bonuses increase. All imbuement skills have had their cooldowns increased. Okay, so subterfuge skills have had their bonuses increased. Multiple passive skills have had their bonuses increased, but imbuement skills have had their cooldowns increased. Unfortunately, I can't remember exactly where all the subterfuge and imbuement skills were. The imbuement skills obviously is the poison, fire, I think it was darkness imbuements. They did add quite a bit of damage amplifiers on your skills, which is really good. So their cooldowns have been reduced. Subterfuge skills. Is this where Flurry was? I can't remember if this was a subterfuge or no, or if that was a core skill. No, core skill was the throwing skill that I had. I can't remember that one. Was either fucking bad with names, but still. Okay, so they're pretty much just you've increased the damage of the rogue. The rogue is pretty powerful to begin with as well, but it seems like you've increased the skill damage as well, and just lowered the cooldown or added to the cooldown. Charge bolt sorcerer. Charge bolt damage was increased, and the mana cost has been decreased. Charge bolt damage was increased, or wasn't good. The mana cost has been increased. Okay, decrease the amount of decrease the damage of chain lightning and reduce its effectiveness against bosses. Yeah, chain lightning was fucking powerful. That was an absolutely massively powerful skill where you literally all you had to do was stand in one place and just spam the shit out of that button. Decrease the cooldown of the incinerate skill enhancement bonuses. Fire walls will now spawn underneath enemies more frequently when using its enhancement bonus. Increase the lucky hit chance for the meteor skill enhancement bonus. So I didn't really do much. With the fire and incinerate skills. I did more of chain lightning with my sort of playthrough, and or just lightning in general. I could definitely say chain lightning was a massive OP skill that you literally just had to just stand there, and it just did damage to everything around you. The addition of the added damage cost if the chain lightning bounced off you and then went back to the enemy was massive. Like that in itself created a lot of damage. So if you were just by yourself with an elite monster, you just spam that. If it bounced off you, you're doing double, triple the amount of damage on them. Whenever we introduce changes to our classes with the goal of making them and their skills feel impactful and powerful, your feedback has helped us uphold those ideals. Some players have adapted or adeptly noticed that certain skills were too powerful. One of our goals for skills is to have them be interesting and weird and interactive in terms of itemization and combat feel. We've made some changes to help in this regard, with one example being Necromancer minions. We made changes that made them more vulnerable in combat, which will make raising the dead a more active component in Necromancer gameplay. Launch is just the first step in a class balance journey, and you can expect further updates that iterate the pillars of Diablo 4. So, my issue with this is, one, the Necromancer was extremely powerful, regardless of what you did, specifically with the minions that never died, and the corpse explosion that was the biggest OP that you've ever had in your life. Rogue was very powerful as well, with the increased attack speed and the amount of damage that increased attack speed did on multiple hits. Sorcerer, again, very, very powerful. I never play Sorcerer because I do feel Sorcerer is pretty much very squishy, like you just get hit once and you're dead. The Sorcerer in Diablo 4 was very, very powerful, and I found that, like I said, the Chain Lightning was an OP event. I'm happy that they've actually reduced the effectiveness against this. Druid, again, for me, I'm talking just on the point of view of my experience with Druid, and I've seen others too, it just didn't feel like it hit properly or hit hard. So whenever we did anything with a Druid, it just kind of felt that it took time for them to really get any type of impact. And Barbarian, you're weakening the Barbarian by 10% as their main initial damage, but you're increasing their skill damage, which I see why you've negated that. I don't understand the complaint here. Was the complaint the fact that they just felt very strong to begin with, and the skill passive trees, it didn't feel like they didn't add anything to it? I don't understand the complaints here, but whatever. I'm not gonna get too far into it. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. You know what I mean? I'm not. If bang, it's how it is. So decent changes to the classes. However, I definitely feel that there's for balancing purposes, because there's again, the Necromancer feels extremely OP. Even with you downgrading the Corpse Explosion skill and the damage that it deals, there were still many things in Necromancer that felt extremely powerful. Similar concept goes with Rogue, similar concept goes with the Sorcerer. I can't say the same with Druid, however, I saw some in-game end version of the beta builds that actually were very, very good. Why am I yawning so much, goddamn? And then Barbarian also, again, very powerful when you start building them up. But let's move on. UI. Fix an issue where the built-in screen reader was not reading key prompts, game options, details, and other UI texts. I don't think I had this issue, but this is not really a change in how the game plays. This is just an issue that obviously people had. Fix an issue where actions cannot be bound to the mouse wheel. Fix an issue where evade couldn't be bound to the right analog stick on controller. Chat will now display on the left side of the screen when using the centered action bar configuration. A character's stats will be displayed by default when players click the materials and stat buttons within their inventory. Character stats will be displayed by default when players click the materials and stat buttons. Yeah, so that was one thing that I know some people had issues with, that whenever you went to the materials and stat buttons, you had to like actually scroll to get the character stats. Again, not really a big issue for me, but I know a lot of people were like you know, we don't want to have to scroll if we don't have to. The move and interact inputs can now be mapped to one button, while the primary attack input is mapped to the secondary button. Okay. The move and interact inputs can now be mapped, so we can move differently rather than. So I'm assuming, can we do the W basically? The sans serif font used in game is serif font. Was this an issue? Did people not like the font that was used in game? Okay. Encounters. Fix multiple issues that allowed bosses like the Butcher to become unresponsive. Okay, so we met the Butcher once. He's a piece of shit. The Butcher has been reevaluated for difficulty and will present a greater challenge in World Tiers 3 and 4. Makes sense. That technically is like your two hardest tiers. That's another thing too. So Diablo 3 had like, you could go to like Torment fucking 120. I don't know if these are the only tiers in Diablo 3 or Diablo 4 that we're going to be seeing, because we haven't seen additional tiers being brought up. So I'm curious about that. Bosses such as Short, Malnock, Vihard, or Vinard, sorry, and others were reevaluated for melee character difficulty, resulting in changes to attacks and fight mechanics. All right, didn't really have any problems with these guys, like I don't recall. Fix an issue where Vampire Brutes using the Shadow Enhance affix would chain cast Impale. So some of these, obviously, I don't really think I have problems with. I'm trying to remember, was it Malnock? Was Malnock the large goat guy that you had to fight for the chieftain? I don't know if it was one of these guys, but he was a pain in the ass. Like, that was very much, if you were a melee fighting him, I could definitely understand why the biggest issue would have been like close range with him. Cellars. Increase the chance for a dungeon event to occur in a cellar. Will now consistently reward a chest upon completion. That is something that I noticed. You would do it to a cellar and you'd say completed, but you get nothing for it. And then it kind of negated the concept of like, why am I doing this in the first place? Fix an issue where cellars would prematurely be marked as complete. Fix an issue where the guaranteed elite monster would be absent from the cellar. Yeah, I've had that too, where there's no elite monster at all. And general quality of life. Fix an issue where players can increase attack speed by move canceling attacks early. Really? That was the thing. Surprised they actually found that out. Fix an issue where characters weren't immune and untargetable after loading into an area. The reset dungeon button has been disabled. I don't understand. What was the reset button dungeon like? Or reset dungeon button? I never used that. I don't understand what the purpose of it was. I don't know if you're resetting the dungeon and the affix that you got is now sent back. Like, you have to do it again. Fix an issue that caused Gale Valley and Serric Rapture to have less monsters than intended until the campaign quest has been. Campaign quests in those territories were complete. Okay, I didn't read that right at all. Anyway. Diablo 4 developer live stream. So yeah, so April 20th is going to be the next live stream. I definitely do want to try to check that out live if possible. April 20th is when? That's on a Thursday. Hopefully I may not be able to check it live, but definitely that's one that I definitely want to check out. But you know, the changes seem Okay. That I don't like. Why am I getting that sound? Let's see if I can get that fixed temporarily. But how's everyone doing today? Hope you guys having a phenomenal day. Hope your days are doing well. Okay, I may have to turn this shit off the time being. Because Jesus Christ, that's gonna be real fucking annoying. Why is that even happening? Why, because of channel points? No, you don't need to do this for channel point redemption. Channel point redemption. I don't need that for that. Alright. Now it shouldn't do that for that. That's been turned off. Great. There we go. Turned off. You're playing Tarkov again. Well, that seems like to be a you problem, not a me problem. Actually, so do you remember? It was a little while ago when you kind of got me, or PvE really got introduced, and I told you I was having the hardest time just beating the fucking first mission in. Oh my god, what is it called? What's the first map called again? Ground Zero. So I started it again, just to be like, let's go back. It was like about a couple weeks ago. Go back and just play a little bit. The first run that I did, I beat all 3 missions. I was like, what the fuck? It was so good. It was so good. Anyways, that's my, Can I just take a minute here for a second? Eleanor, thank you for the 3 years. I just noticed the amount of months you were there. Holy crap. Thank you for the 3 years. Much appreciated. And again, thank you for the 73. Jesus. You guys are absolutely amazing. Guys, yeah, if you do be like that. No, it's fucking hilarious. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll take it for what it is. You know what I mean? Chris, buddy, hope you're doing well. Sean, you know what time it is? Hold on, let me get the thing up so I can cancel it. Oh, I have new ones, however, I have not. Okay. Alright, that's fine. Come here, Sean. Or Eleanor. What has happened with him? Like, nothing's really going on with the guy. I know he's doing a lot of TNA stuff, but so I do have a couple of new things. I haven't made them live just yet, but I will share them with you guys. Why didn't Joe Hendry turn off? Strange. Right now there's gonna be 5 that are brand new. So I will activate them myself so you guys can see what they are. But here. This is America. Don't catch you slipping now. Don't catch you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping. There's this one. You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't. Yeah, this one's hilarious. I just found this one funny. It's only a game. Why do you have to be mad? Because it's true. Why is everyone so mad about fucking games, dude? Holy shit. This is obviously one that I have to have fun. Oh, Mr. Bean. Love about Mr. Bean. And final, and not least, you guys know this one? Dun, 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 dun. Do it, Kitty. Do it faster. Do it faster. Go, Bean. Go. What? I found this one would be a kind of cute one to have on you. Sad that this cat died. It's very unfortunate that this cat passed away. But I don't know why there was still a black box there, but we'll get that figured out. So those are the ones yet. There are more that I'm going to be bringing forward. I just haven't had time to put them on. Honestly, I can get it going right now. So sorry guys, let me go here. Grab one log. Talk about it. Or did you hear Josh had a story regarding him? Regarding Henry? No. Fang, how you doing, by the way, man? I hope you are good. Edgy, I love the guy too. Sweet, love it. Mark, also good. Mark Flyers hilarious. I love him. Mr. Bean, yes, cat. He was nervous to take C4 Spike. He went to show before the show when they normally practice, and he brought Joe Hendry up. His ass was from Josh's face, and he basically farted Josh's mouth. Nobody could read. They were laughing so hard.
Listen, shut up for a second.
So I agree with him. He talked about doesn't really get recognized when he supposed to be in that one. I find that amazing. I do too, actually. I actually remember him saying something like that. I find it amazing he doesn't either, because that was literally the character that pretty much brought him to like spotlight, right? But fuck, man, just going back and just watching the Mr. Bean episodes, they're fucking hilarious. My most favorite one is when he's in church and they're praying and he's trying to eat that little candy and he's got his like his booger in it and stuff like that. And oh, hilarious. I love it. Oh, we're love it. Said it was like kitten farts. It's not mean. Even to this day, they're fantastic. Times. It was the cutest fart in game. I have questions about the story. So many questions. According to Josh, this is what kind of person enjoy British humor. Oh, 100%. There are ones that's hard. Like we tried to look at The Office in Britain with Ricky Gervais and all the characters, right? We tried that. That was so difficult to follow, and that specifically is because that's a specific humor that you really have to be in Britain to understand. And we tried. Like IT Crowd is one thing. That show is our most favorite show. It's hilarious. It's just fucking stupid. We tried to do the Office. We couldn't, unfortunately. Like I remember sitting through one or two of the episodes and we're just like, what the hell did we just do? Mrs. Brown, boys, so freaking funny. I'll check it out. You're not the first one to say that, actually. Told you, Chris Van So today, first and foremost, I am super hyped of Path of Exile 2 coming out on Friday. Who isn't? I understand that. So, but regardless, I am hyped for that. I know Marvel Rivals is coming up tomorrow as well. Another thing that I'm kind of excited for that one. Last time I played Marvel Rivals, very, very early access, they had a lot of problems when it came to kind of how they balanced a lot of the characters. Hopefully they fix that. So we'll see. I know there's a lot of things being released for it. I literally have not played in like months that game. So if I were to get back into it, it'd be very much what is happening. But it's very much like Overwatch. I ain't tea, that's fine. Not everyone's cup of tea, unless you're lying to me. Otherwise, you're a piece of shit. I'd be doing well, by the way. But no, Path of Exiles 2, I was not necessarily going to be on the hype train for it. But there's just something about it that I'm like, I gotta try. And now I'm coming into it as a casual player, right? I'm not being here to be like, I'm gonna hardcore this thing, I'll mix, min-max everything, I'm gonna everything, I'm gonna be the best there is. No, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna go in casually, play the game, and kind of get to know the mechanics of it. I am starting as a mercenary, and I've been looking at the Ascensions and pretty much the game mechanics and the end game and stuff like that, and how this game specifically is very, not exactly, but like closer to Souls-like concept where it's going to be difficult, more unique boss fights, or in general fights, and then the concept of dying actually is a lot more detrimental this time. Not just simply dying, you go back and you try to take off a little bit of life off the boss, because the one is when you die, if you did damage to the boss and stuck to the boss, you go back, you kind of chisel away a little bit more, die, come back, and chisel away. Whereas this one, all life comes back. And some endgame mechanics, if you die, you pretty much lose progression in that one area that you were working towards, and you lose everything. And you can't go back to it. You have to find another way, like to go around a node to get to a specific. an ARPG that, for me specifically, hits a lot of ooh. So I'm definitely going to check it out. The reason I didn't like getting into PoE 1 is because there was so much specifics that, like, you have to have this build, then you have to have this item, and you have to have this. And if you want to do anything in endgame, you must follow this set of rules, or this guide to get to this specific build and get to these items. It became so convoluted and frustrating to kind of follow those that it took the complete pleasure out of playing the game. And I also found it was just kind of like, okay, I started very late in the game, right? So maybe that's why it was very, very difficult. So I'm really, really liking the fact that I can get more experience in the game as a new experience and a new release and everything to kind of learn it from you. So I'm excited for that. So we're definitely gonna try that one out. It's gonna be a Friday thing. I'm probably gonna be doing 2 streams on Friday. Also, since I've joined the board of this building, have I done a stream? I can't remember if I did. I think I did one, but
I am going to commit great crime. I'm going to bust nut in water tower.
That's so exciting. Where you're on the board? Yes, I am on the board of directors for the building that I live in. Jesus Christ, I gotta say, they took over a lot of fucking problems in our last board that got voted out. What time? I love Medea's movie with Mrs. Brown. Mrs. Brown and Dean Story. Okay, I'll check it out later on. But yeah, it's been I am on the board. It's not a paid gig. It's kind of like you're in it for the purpose of benefiting the community and the building and seeing what your skills can do. I am. And this is kind of why it's a little fun. I am the youngest individual on there, 100%. But I think I'm the youngest individual that has ever been on this board. The building was built in 1970 something. Jesus Christ, man. So it is interesting. However, I'm coming in with the concept of, like, you know, I have my expertise. I'm going to try to benefit the building because there's been a lot of shit in this building and people, right? So it's hilarious how during the AGM meeting, which is a yearly meeting that all the owners come together with the board and everything, and they do a meeting to kind of discuss what projects are going on, the status of the building, and so on and so on and so on. That's when you can apply to be part of the board as well. There's a position that's available, so one was available. I hummed it on for a little bit, but the missus was like, "Hey, listen, just try it. You know, just try, get on there, see what you can do, help out." Because I have offered my services to the previous board before, but they always rejected it because they didn't like to have outside help on, and I get it. So I applied, and I won via a landslide. So based on the amount of people that were in attendance, both electronically and there, I had 95% of the vote. I was like, okay, and that was 3 people, one of which was rerunning. So I'm now on there. Yay. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was like. I'm like, what the fuck? No, I do not want to go for the precedence in this one. If you go, okay, so my position, a little bit more lackluster. Like, I give my opinions, I give everything, right? Like, whatever, fine, it is what it is. You're the president of the board, you have to give so much of your time just for the purpose of running events. Like, we have a event coming up on Saturday that's kind of an international Christmas celebration. It's pretty much anyone who's building that from a different background. And, you know, bring something to eat that represents your background, and you get to know the community a bit more. So we're gonna have events there for little kids. We're gonna have events for families. We're gonna do like
It was at this
raffle
moment
tickets.
he knew. He fucked up.
True. We're doing raffle tickets. We're doing like so much stuff. Kind of bring a little bit more community involvement, right? Get everyone in and enjoy and have fun. Fucking annoying thing is usually my wife and I would go to these and there for like 5 minutes and we'd leave because we're like, it's not really our scene. Now, as a fucking board member, I gotta be there in the fucking beginning of it, throughout the process of it, and at the end of it. I'm like, fuck's sakes, god damn it. Man, I just wanted to help with the projects. But yeah, so some things I'm very happy to say though, it's been a very much learning experience. I'm very happy to say though, it is one of these situations where I'm happy to see that the current board has people in mind. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of decisions that are being made are not intended to be like, okay, whatever, fuck everyone, it's gonna be crazy. You can't. They're like, okay, well, we can't make a decision because it's gonna affect people like this. So I'm kind of happy because the last board was a fucking shit, and that's what pissed me off. But I'm not gonna go into too much of that. Let's just say that we had to get like new lawyers, and lawyers will like take one thing at a time because they're like, this is a fucking mess that this board took over. It's been what, 2 weeks since I've gotten on the board? I think it's been 2 weeks. Anyways, so yeah, so there is that. What else is there? I have a show coming up on Saturday. I'm running both the misses and my boots because unfortunately our babysitter got sick, so she's not able to take over. Sunday we got the thing going on. Friday, like I said, we have the POE2 coming out. Tomorrow I have to go early to get my car oil change, come back. There's a meeting that's involving the board with a contractor. We're hoping to kind of get them to lower the amount of what they quoted us because we need that lowered 100%. Just a bunch of shit I gotta do tomorrow as well. So it's gonna be a busy few days next week, which is fantastic. But yeah. You told us, that's the last show was one of your best. Yes. How did that go? So the last show, so not my last show, because the last show again was I ran with the Misses and I. So that was my two shows ago. We had. It's actually the Misses and I's old stomping ground. We actually were part of that BIA, which is kind of an organization that runs events in that specific area. So at that show, I did okay for like throughout the process of the show. It was at the very, very end. An individual who had some interest in the before Christmas burn that I had. You guys saw that little rectangular burn. He came back, grabbed that. He at the same time grabbed the Sailor Moon round piece that I did as well. Throughout the day, there was a bunch of coasters that was sold, a bunch of bookmarks, a bunch of keychains, a lot of interest. I had some prints that were sold. So it was actually it was a very, very good day. It was actually the best show I've ever had, which was really, really cool. Even like there's other shows that I've had in the past where, like, for example, my Diablo tree sold randomly. So I had like other good shows, but this one accumulatively, the fact that within one day I almost banked $400 was fantastic. I was like, okay, that's very, very handy. Specific nowadays, very, very handy. So it was good. It was good. Will I have that again? Not sure. Because the thing is, whenever I do a show, the stuff that I do is so nichey that it's very hard to attract people. This fucking wolf. Okay, this was very weird. So during that one show where it was my best, okay, I had people who were obviously out of town or something posing for people to take pictures in front of the wolf burn. And it wasn't the fact that it was one person, it was 3 individual people that did this. I'm like, buy it. Fucking buy it then. Also, letting you guys know too, if you guys are ever interested in some of the pieces that I have remaining right now, there's 10% off everything on the site right now. If there's of any interest, obviously for holiday season and everything, right? So if you guys want to know, exclamation mark site will give you all that detail. Also, the Missus has some deals going on right now too, so exclamation mark below for her stuff. Then we get better. Thank you. Why did I just dim? My light just dimmed. Today, we are doing a couple things. So we have 2 more coasters I gotta do. These are little cute teddy bears. And we're gonna paint the hat red and obviously the star. We're gonna try to do a little bit of gold with that again. And then from here we have a Goku one that we're gonna work on, and then we have Mortal Kombat. So these are the ones I'm planning on working on right now. There are others that I'm working on right now. Just realized my camera is on. All right, yeah, I forgot. I changed my camera up a little bit as well to give you guys more allocated area here. That is it actually. So I am doing something. I'm doing something on the side. Which isn't really what so I'm not too concerned. I'm doing something on the side for my sister-in-law. Now, my sister-in-law about a year ago lost one of her really good friends. Whoa! She lost one of her really good friends. So for, if I can't get it completed by Christmas, it'll be for her birthday in February.
Weihnachten ist besser.
For her, or with her friends, so that's pretty much the picture in question. My sister-in-law right there, and her friend, it's kind of a friend of ours as well, Stans. He passed away, unfortunately, and it was a very random one, too, so she didn't find out until, like, months later, which really, really sucked, because she's all the way to the East End now, right? So, it's a special kind of gift for her. I'm trying to do this, and it's starting out, I'm not really good at realism, but I'm trying to do this for her in hopes that, you know, this is something that she's okay with, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But this is what I'm working on so far as well. And I also have like a Rhea Ripley burn that I want to do as well, which is taking quite a bit of time. As a matter of fact, it's not really taking time. I haven't fucking started it, so that's the fucking problem. So we'll see how that one turns out. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll turn out well. Yeah. So these are the ones we're gonna start today. We're gonna work on the coasters for now. The reason why is because they're actually pretty simple to do. I've actually sold a few of these already, like at my shows, like flying off the shelves. I gotta make more. Also, I'm doing. Mrs. asked me to do a custom stocking holder. So I'm planning on screwing actually like some actual hooks on here. But pretty much it's gonna be for obviously the missus, the daughter, and the little one, and myself. I'm just about to call a little one. No. Cool thing is. You guys see it's very shimmery and sparkly. So during our last visit at Home Depot, I got myself 2-in-1. That is a stain plus also a gloss finisher. Holy shit, do I ever love how this turned out. I'm really, really ecstatic on how this actually turned out. So it's fucking beautiful. I love it. It turned out nicely. So we will definitely be continuing this one. Like I said, I have to screw in the hooks on there. Then I have to in the back here. I have 2 little pieces that I also stained. I'm going to be installing here and on these. I'm going to be gluing them down and then screwing them in, but pretty much on these I'm going to have little hangers on here, so yeah, stuff's happening. I'm getting projects all over. I don't want to move the schools and I'm watching. Yeah, that too. Strangers don't like it when I go to the mask and that. Otherwise, how's everyone going? How's your guys' holiday going so far? Has the holiday started for you guys even at this point in time? Oh, I have to adjust the camera here. Has the holiday started for you guys at all? Or is it kind of like, I'll wait until the time needs to happen for me to do any of that shit? What is happening here? This is weird. I also did record something as well. What is happening? Why are you not adjusting? That was really weird. That did not adjust anything. Excuse me? I legit actually don't know why nothing's being adjusted. Not as much as I'd like. Anyways, whatever. It's a holiday. I can't afford those. I know. Fuck. Trust me, I know that, brother. I'm well aware about that. I'm happy because I think one of the voices I've been fucking waiting for to get why we paid. So now my boss can hopefully pay my commission on that fucking invoice. I'm like, oh my god, I need that fucking. He's giving me my money. Change this to art. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's been going on. I am super stoked for Path of Exile 2 though, so. But again, make note, I'm not gonna be like the best in the world. I'm just gonna go into it as a casual player. And have fun, chill with it, you know what I mean? That's what I do best. And those crack cocaine. Which I'm hoping to get out on something, I'm doing it live on the video. Yes, I'm totally gonna try this. I was looking for a while. Oh, God. Thank you.